Hello. How you doing? Welcome to the program. It is I don't know what the hell day it is. It's the 28th of January. A few caveats before we begin today's show. Uh, my dog walker has wisely decided that it's too cold for man nor beast, and the streets are still a friggin' nightmare. And so my dog doesn't know it. He's sitting at the front door waiting. And I assume will be heard here and there. So I'm apologizing for that. And just for a little local quibble here, the streets, it's outrageous. Just I don't know. Yes, I understand. The snowplow, all the trucks broke down or something. Well, I'm sorry. So I'm sure this administration will blame it on the former administration, and the former administration probably inherited it from the administration before that because we don't take care of stuff like that. Maintenance. Half our ambulances don't work, it's just ridiculous because it requires money. And you can't stay in office in this country anymore if you say to the voters, we got to raise taxes because we don't have enough money to keep plows and ambulances and all our vehicles working. We've got like one plumber in the entire city we've got that we can use. All this crap. And it's because the citizens won't pay. But again, on the citizens' side, most of the real estate in this city is owned by behemoth entities that don't pay taxes. The hospitals, the universities, the churches. And I'll take the churches and pull them out for a second because they ain't necessarily rolling in dough these days either. But UPMC, that they don't pay anywhere near their fair share. They're lousy neighbors. And they're a nonprofit. Let's remember that. You want to know who runs this town? You can tell who runs this town. Is my mic going in and out? God damn it. UPMC, Pitt, CMU. Those guys do. Because no administration has been able to get them to kick in their fair share. It's why I even get pissed off when people give money to like Children's Hospital. They roll out sick children and say, help these sick children. They have gazillions of dollars. Oh, don't get me on UPMC. Okay, all right. This thing keeps going out. I've been told to stop talking about technical stuff. But anyway, okay, I'll stop. Anyway, I happened to finally venture out on my own, which is why I know about the state of the streets. And they're ridiculous. Ridiculous. The snow stopped, 48 hours ago? Unbelievable. Excuse me while I take a swig of a carcinogenic thing that has some caffeine in it. I didn't sleep last night. It's a thing now. I start thinking. And I'm thinking about, yeah, all this stuff. Anyway. Where to begin? The stupidest headline I saw today. It was in the, I think it was the Washington Post. And it's not that it was untruthful, but there was something so silly about it because, again, it was coming from a world in which, you report on what the government does and you don't editorialize and that's journalism. And the headline was, 2 federal agents shot Alex Petrie, initial government review reveals. That's news? The initial government report from the Department of Homeland Effin' Security, the murderers of Alex Petrie. Yes, their initial review have determined that what you knew, I knew, everybody knew, in fact happened, as opposed to what they told us happened, vehemently told us happened. And again, it's like we're living in a crazy place that you read a headline like that as if it's giving us new, in the context of being gaslit by those same people. I don't know. It makes you not sleep at night. God dang it. Oh, another quickie that's just sort of not as heavy. The movie that Americans are not rushing to the theaters to see, the movie Melania, that, what was it, Jeff Bezos paid, I forget how many gazillions into Trump's pocket to make. Nobody's going. It's in theaters. I'm sure it's in theaters here. And I love it. No, people aren't even going to go and laugh at it because they don't want to give it any money. There are people who are keeping track of how many tickets have been sold in various theaters around the country and the world because it opened in the UK. Nobody, practically. And Variety, the Hollywood rag that reports on the movie biz, Variety put out a review that said if they showed this movie on an airplane in the air, people would still walk out. Oh, yeah, you gotta laugh when you can. Gotta laugh when you can. So I think one of the more fascinating things that has happened here is the Second Amendment stuff. Because, um, the NRA and its crowd have been warning Americans for my entire life that it's the Democrats who are gonna take your guns away. And it's just amazing how even yesterday, Trump, knowing that the NRA and whole bunch of his gun-toting base were freaking out about statements coming out of the administration at high levels that Petrie deserved it because he brought a gun, which he had a permit for, to a demonstration. You know, like Kyle Rittenhouse, their hero. And in Iowa yesterday, Trump doubled down on that and said he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. Do you know? I mean, I personally, have never been into guns, but this is hugely politically dangerous for this fucking fascist. How dumb is he? But they do have to take the guns. No, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry about my mouth. I am. But God, never has it been more suitable for the times. I remember my mom picking me up once in front of East High School in Green Bay, and she'd been sitting there for a while. And when I got in the car, she was sort of like that, she said, "Why, it's simply amazing. They're using that word as an adjective, a verb, a noun, in every way." Oh, and speaking of that, have you seen that like 9 district attorneys from cities around the country have banded together to form an organization that will help DAs in cities that ICE is occupying or terrorizing. And they had to put a name on it. The DA in Minneapolis is part of it. The DA in Philly, Krasner, is part of it. I'm not quite sure who else is, but they gave themselves a name because, you got to have a name now. And the name is, I'll find it, god damn it. The name is, I'll find it. Oh, God. The name is Project for the Fight Against Federal Overreach. The acronym Fight Against Federal Overreach, only in this day and age, is FAFO. Which brings me back to my mom sitting in the car waiting for me. She would be astonished that this many years later, district attorneys actually call their organization FAFO, fuck around and find out. FAFO, although they say it stands for Fight Against Federal Overreach. Let me see what you guys are up to. 40 mil Bezos put out for the honor of making this movie that no one will see. It opens Friday. Thank you guys for telling me. And it's true that when the trailer has shown in theaters, the audience has booed. Oh, I guess so then that the ticket sales that I'm seeing are from like England, where it is open, or overseas or something. I don't know. All right, whatever. Oh, and in regard, I love this because I came upon this. It's a Charlie Kirk quote. And to think that this president who spoke at his funeral, right, and lauded him as a martyr and as a hero and all of that, Charlie Kirk. Give me the fucking Charlie Kirk. Here it is. Excuse me. Charlie Kirk said this. And I mean, it's been sad because it was ironic that a guy who was so insistent that people be able to bring guns to public events, to anywhere they wanted to, that he ended up being blown away at a public event where an American did what Charlie Kirk said was a real good American thing to do. Ironic. Charlie Kirk said this, direct quote, "The Second Amendment is not for hunting. It is not for self-protection. It is there to ensure that free people can defend themselves if, God forbid, government became tyrannical and turned against its own citizens." What you said. Isn't that, there it is. And that is, yeah, what a lot of Second Amendment folks do say. I need this gun because I need to be able to defend myself if the government comes for me. Now, what they always thought was that government that was going to come for them was a democratic government. Ah! They forgot about fascists. Because fascists definitely come for your guns. Yeah. And they got themselves in this pretty little pickle. Got us all in this pretty little pickle. Oh dear. So the woman who took the video, the woman in pink, who immediately afterwards went into hiding, was said to fear for her life, understandably, was scared that ICE was going to come and get her. She has emerged. She was interviewed by Anderson Cooper on CNN. And she has security around her and attorneys around her. And she's just saying I had to do what I did. And in the moment, it was my choice. I knew I was in danger, but brave woman. Her name is Stella Carlson. All these Minnesotans, every time I see a name, it is such a classic Minnesota name because they're Norwegians. They're scared. Blow! Cut it. That won't work. So it's okay. So it got me thinking, though, about the other woman who has not been named or identified yet. And I so feel for her because she's the woman that Preddy was trying to help after she'd been shoved to the ground by these thugs and murderers. She's the reason he inserted himself and ended up between her and them, and then they went for him. And I so feel for her. Because I don't know. She's probably blaming herself in some ways. She's probably, because this nice man tried to help me, he's dead. And here I am. I just feel for her. Yesterday, I was talking a little bit about state terror, that is what this is. And I didn't have the piece that I'd read in front of me. I have it now. And it's by I think it's a woman. The byline is M. Gessen. But I think M. Gessen is herself, maybe not, a immigrant who is here because she lived in a totalitarian country, I believe Soviet Union or Russia. And she came to the United States. And so she knows of totalitarianism. And the headline on her piece is "State Terror Has Arrived," because she been there, done that. And she mentions that in the 1990s, I have a feeling this would be when Gorbachev was there, the KGB files were briefly opened somehow, and people saw some of what was in them. They got closed back up again. But what was in them is that the KGB was under very sort of strict rules. They had quotas. Local squadrons of the KGB were tasked with arresting a certain number, got to get the numbers in, certain number of citizens every week or every month. And those citizens were to be designated enemies of the state, enemies of the people. Exactly what this Trump administration is trying to say about Americans exercising their First Amendment rights and protesting. they're being designated as, right, enemies. What do you do with enemies when you're in a war, as they say we're in? You kill them. And she points out that the KGB got to the point where they were just sweeping up anybody to make their numbers. And do you know what? That's what's happening in Minneapolis. They're just making their quotas. Gessen says that in Russia, the terror that was unleashed was random. And that, in fact, was the point. That's how terror works. That's what keeps people in their houses and afraid to go out. Because an ICU nurse or a kid walking down the street, bang, can get grabbed. And she said another thing to know, and we have to know this because these guys are using the same playbook. This is where they want to take us. It's so open. She said, when we think of like the Nazis, and by the way, yesterday was Holocaust Remembrance Day. I watched that great old movie, Judgment at Nuremberg, with Burt Lancaster and Spencer Tracy. And God, the cast was beyond belief. Really good movie. And then on WQED last night, I saw a documentary about survivor Elie Wiesel, who I had the honor of meeting and having dinner with. And he, unlike Donald Trump, won the Nobel Peace Prize. But just saying, I was reminded watching these things of what happens when you let fascists take over, what ultimately happens to good people, to people who get scared and keep their heads down and keep their mouths shut. And she said, we Americans, when we think of like the Nazis, we think of that I don't know, was it a poem or first they came? First they came for the communists, I think. Then they came for the trade unionists. Then they came for the Jews, and then they came for and then they came for the gypsies, and they came for this and that, and yada, yada, yada. And then they came for me, and there was no one there to protest me, that or whatever. And she said, that's not really the way it happened. That makes it sound like the Nazis or Stalin and these sons of bitches, that they have like a list, a group. They don't. Again, it's much more random. It's about instilling terror. And she points out that, in fact, in 1934, which corresponds with sort of where we are now, in 1934, Hitler had over 100 of the higher ups in the Brown Shirt Brigade, the SA, the ones who were terrorizing German citizens on the street. He had over 100 of them executed. The point was, nobody is immune from the state's power and the state's terror. Stalin did that kind of thing all the time, carried out purges of, people in high places. So you terrorize everybody, even those within your organization. You already see he's terrorized his whole entire party. They're afraid to take him on for fear of their lives or their families' lives. And then this M. Gessen says, Trump is using all the instruments. The reported quotas for ICE arrests, the paramilitary force made up of thugs drunk on their own brutality, the very spectacle of random violence that plays out in your living room, the post-mortem vilification of the victims. Right. It's only natural that our brains struggle to find logic in what we are seeing. And there is a logic, but that logic has a name, and it's called state terror. It's the logic of state terror. I can't believe that there are still people in this country who say, but it can't, this is America. Okay, that doesn't happen here. When you're going to believe what your own eyes are seeing? I mentioned the other day that if you see like the recruiting posters and stuff on the DHS website, or even other, I think the Department of Labor's got these kinds of Nazi era almost posters up of hardworking Americans, all of them blonde, all of them Aryan. They're not a black or brown face to be seen. Not a one. And wow, somebody noted another one that is out there now. And so those of us not in the, not in the know, when you see these things, you think, what? And this is an ad that I think was on the, Department of Homeland Security's site. Let me find it. And it said, we'll have our home again. This, and there's a picture of like a cowboy. We'll have our home again. And under it, join ICE.gov. It's a recruiting thing for ICE agents. And here's what you and me don't necessarily know. We'll have our home again is a song that the Proud Boys and white supremacists claim, because it's about getting rid of all those brown and black and Jews and Muslims. It's what it's about. And our own government is putting those out. They are clearly going after white nationalists to be ICE agents. So when people say those are the Proud Boys that are now armed and killing, it is true. And it's exactly what they want. The White House put out a post when they were going after Greenland. Remember that? Jesus. They put out a post and it showed, it said, "Which way, Greenland man?" And it showed two dog sleds. And one was heading toward clearly Russia, and the other was heading to the wonderful warm arms of the US. Which way, Greenland man? The White House put that one out. And again, white nationalists get it because there's a book called Which Way, Western Man? And that is a book that white supremacists love because it claims that the Jews are the ones who are plotting to destroy Western civilization, and that Adolf Hitler was, in fact, right on the money, and that violence against Jews is justified. And I gotta tell you, our White House. So here's what we need to understand. These people who would kill a lot of us have killed some already. That they are already in our government, in positions of a lot of power. Some of them aren't real skilled at exercising it, given the fact that people have cell phones and stuff. So Gregory Bavino, maybe know him, but they were doing what the white nationalists who run our country now wanted them to do. And what's this crap about? They say that ICE is going to go with the American Olympic team to Italy? What the is that about? What? The US team can't travel without its brown shirts? What is that about? And the Italians want to know too, believe me. And it ain't going over well there. Speaking of it ain't going over well, Fox News showed a poll taken in Germany, a country that knows what fascists and nationalists bring with them. And the question was asked of the German people who were surveyed, who is the greatest threat to world peace? And they were given 5 bad guys to choose from. Putin, Khomeini in Iran, Xi in China, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, and the 5th was the President of the United States of America. I'm sure Fox News put the poll up because it was so, what? What? But you know what the results of the poll were? Donald Trump, he likes to win, so maybe he'd be happy about this. He ran away with it. 41% of the people in the survey said Donald Trump is the greatest threat to world peace. Not the murderous head of North Korea, not the murderous head of Iran, or the murderous head of Russia or China. The murderous, terrifying head, democratically elected, of the United States of America. Wow. Wow. Okay. Hey, I want to, tip my hat to the Catholic Church, because an awful lot of their guys have been coming out with like really strong statements against this terror. And I'm sure others have as well, but I don't know. I guess I just don't see them as much. We need more of it. Let me find the exact words. Hang on. I'll get it. This is awful because I'm just scrolling through. I used to have another guy. Okay, I got it. The like Bishop of Newark put out a statement and said this. I don't know, what's his name? Cardinal. Oh, he's a cardinal. Cardinal Joseph Tobin, the Archbishop of Newark, said, "We ask Congress, for the love of God and the love of human beings, which cannot be separated, vote against renewing funding for ICE, a lawless organization." That's a cardinal. And then the National Catholic Reporter published an opinion piece by one of their editors, which went after Vice President Vance, who, trumpets his Catholicism. And they accused him of choosing MAGA over Jesus. And they rebuked him for his inflammatory and politicizing language in response to the killings in Minneapolis. And they said the vice president had the opportunity to call for peace and unity. He failed to. And they went on to say, as a Catholic, Vance knows better than to peddle this brand of gaslighting and agitation, and said that his view of Christianity was twisted and wrong-headed, and that Catholicism seems to be little more than a political prop, a tool only for his career ambitions. and desire for power. Now, so we're seeing more stuff like that, people in positions of power and authority speaking out. We're also seeing, now the NRA all befuddled what to do. We are seeing People magazine. I mean, People magazine. It's nothing but, fluff. Pictures of celebrities and actors and singers and stories about their lives, and never, takes strong stands on anything. People magazine, whose readership is not, I'm assuming, necessarily really political, right? People magazine has run a piece, several pages, humanizing, as they do. They're very, they flesh out humans in very nice ways. Only in this case, they're not fleshing out celebrities, which is not like them at all. They're fleshing out people who have died in ICE custody. People magazine. And I think that again shows that things are shifting and changing. And the administration is floundering right now. Now, that's a scary thing. Trump's been backpedaling and losing a lot. He's backpedaled on Greenland. He backpedaled all the bombast. He's been backpedaling and backpedaling. He'll have to backpedal some in Minneapolis. But if you've got People magazine now, profiling Geraldo Lunas Campos, that's the guy who died in Texas. And I said it was, he was trying to kill himself, and they were trying to stop him from killing themselves. So they couldn't because they're incompetent, and he died. The medical examiner said this guy was murdered. And then they humanized 5-year-old Liam Ramos, who was held by ICE as bait to get his relatives. They highlighted a guy named Wael Tarabishi, who is dead. And he is dead because he had a rare genetic disease. And his father was the caregiver who knew how to care for him. But his father was taken by ICE. And this is from Cox Richardson. News, you can't make this stuff up. News broke today that federal agents deported a 5-year-old American citizen, to Honduras, a country where she had never been. She was sent with her mother. The agents did not permit either of them to have access to a lawyer or a hearing before a judge. An immigration attorney tried to find them, but ICE agents allegedly told the attorney the mother and child weren't in their database. The fact is, they were being held at a hotel rather than a detention center, and that this is the kind of tactic they use to keep some of those they detained from being detected. Wow. It's hard to even believe some of this. And another thing that's happening, I'm grasping at some straws here that look like Americans waking up. And I have little doubt that is happening. Americans waking up. And again, I cannot credit the people of Minnesota enough. They've just been astonishing. But I saw another piece that said, these influencers, everybody wants to grow up to be an influencer now, where I guess you just sit in your house and influence people. And influencers, have little niches that they inhabit, and they create viral communities that hang on their every word. And it turns out that these influencers who might be influencers, their communities might consist of people who are really into like Lord of the Rings or Star Trek. It's people, that's those niches, or biking, or travel, or maybe they're an influencer about personal finance, or they're into their community as all baseball fans. It doesn't matter. But they have the attention of tens or hundreds of thousands of people who share their interests and look to them as somebody who knows their stuff. And people are cataloging that more and more of these influencers who are not political, they're not writing about politics, are so freaked by what they're seeing that they're saying something. And some of them are saying, I know I'm going to lose some of you by saying this, but I got to say this. And they ain't losing that many people. They're seeing support. Thank you for saying this. Thank you. Yeah, some people are saying fuck you and leaving, but the vast majority are saying thank you. And again, like the People magazine readership, I don't think that's necessarily a particularly political audience. So this is good. This is good. Did you see that Neil Young, the singer and composer, Neil Young has told Amazon, fuck you. You cannot have one song of mine to sell. You don't have it on you cannot put it out. I don't give it to you. It's over. Goodbye, you fucks. And yet he's given his entire collection free to the nation of Greenland. Now, I want to see more musicians doing that. I want to see more authors. I want to see more. Really, I'm sorry I'm moving around. I'm antsy. This is what we need. We need to see the ball rolling. We need to show that the opposition is coming from here and there and there and here, everywhere. And it's starting. So, there was an obit I wanted to share, and now I don't have time. I'll do it tomorrow. I have 2 obits, actually. Have you seen the video of Lady Gaga? I brought up Fred Rogers the other day, and then I see this video that I guess it's odd. I don't quite understand how it's a commercial, but it's a video like 2 minutes long or something that I guess is going to run in the Super Bowl. And it's Lady Gaga singing Fred Rogers' song, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" And whoa, she nails it. It's just beautiful. But even that is a little, and speaking of the Super Bowl, by the way, you got to root for Seattle. Because their owner hates Trump. It's a woman, and she hates his guts, okay? And Kraft with New England, I don't think so much. So, and anyway, the Patriots have enough. I don't care if it's a new crowd. Seattle, if you need somebody to root for. And by the way, Mike McCarthy, who, is now the Steelers head coach, I should put out this picture I have of him, but I can't, that was taken in Green Bay this August when I went to celebrate my mom's 103rd birthday. And we always go to the same little ancient hotel that's been there since 18 God knows what. And Mike McCarthy was there. And my niece's son-in-law, and niece's husband, who was taking his little kids to the bathroom, bumped into him and recognized him and said, "Oh, Coach McCarthy." And, he was coaching Green Bay some time ago. And then he went to the Cowboys, and he's been unemployed. So I thought, what the hell is he doing in Green Bay? It turns out one of his kids, I guess, lives there. So he was visiting, I think, his family in Green Bay. And he took a picture with Susan's son-in-law and 2 of her grandchildren. And it's the cutest picture. But when I saw McCarthy on Pittsburgh television yesterday as the new coach of the Steelers, he looked nothing like he did 6 months ago. 6 months ago in Green Bay, He had this big white beard. He had like all this, he had all this hair. And the guy who I saw at that press conference yesterday, he didn't have hair much. So I'm just saying, I thought that was funny. Okay. Rustbelt says not only the Super Bowl having Bad Bunny at the halftime show, Green Day is opening the show, and Trump won't be there. I mean, what more can you ask for? You guys want an easy show tomorrow? Well, you fucking tell me how to do that. The world as we know it is coming to an end. And I can't take calls, and that's tough. I got 2 obits I can do tomorrow. That's happier stuff. I don't know. You want to be happy and entertained? I don't think this is the place for that right now. I'm sorry. I really am. I understand if you need to take a break. And yes, you can ask me stuff in chat. Oh. Anyway, I want to say thank you to my dog, who was very good. And thank you for joining me. And I will be back tomorrow. In as much as I can figure something that might be a little lighter, I'll go for it. Believe me, I'm looking too. But we can't take our eye off the ball. The game we're in is way, way, way too important.